Hello, 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 good morning and welcome back to T is for Temidayo. It is 3:49 p.m. Today is December 31st, 2025. And today marks 31 days of 365 days of tea for me. We did it! We're here. We're here. We're here. Let's do it. All right. So, today is day 31 of 365 days of me self-administering testosterone. Actually, that might change, but at least for now, I'm self-administering testosterone in the hopes of feeling more aligned with how I experience myself on the inside of my body and enjoying the expression of that experience on the outside of my body. Today, as yesterday, we are doing glutes in an effort to enjoy that experience of self in conjunction with a big, fat, non-binary booty. I'm currently rubbing it on as we speak, spreading it as wide as I can. I did, in fact, shower today, which is also why it's a little bit later, because I did my exercises for the day and showered, and we're done. And I wanted to get that all done before I put this on, let it dry in the place that I did not put any moisturizer on, and then move on with the rest of my day. Now, I am feeling a little bit conflicted, a little bit insecure, a little bit excited, but also a little bit nervous. And I'll tell you why. Before we get into this year in review that we are scheduled to do, I just wanted to do a quick check-in to say it is later than I thought it was going to be when I started this video, which is to say, because it is already almost 4 o'clock, I'm feeling like a lot of the day, quite literally, is already gone. The sun is probably going to set within the next hour. Golden hour is like slowly kind of dissipating. It does look really nice in my room, though, with my disco ball reflecting on the ceiling and the walls. It looks really nice. So I'm feeling a little behind is really what it is. I ended up taking kind of a sleep aid last night. And by last night, I mean this morning. I went to an incredible New Year's Eve party, a New Year's Eve party last night, and it ended up being so good that I stayed much later than I was expecting to, and I left a little after 1 a.m. I'll be right back. So, yes, like I was saying, I'm a little bit behind today. So I'm feeling a little like disjointed, and I was just dealing with the situation because we didn't have any heat in the apartment. The heat went out around the 24th. And because of course it was a holiday, folks were not responding to emails. And so we just got somebody to come out and check it out yesterday, and then they just finished that job today. So it's been about a week since we've had consistent heat in the apartment, and it's just like dealing with them being here and recording these videos while they're here, and then woo! But we're here. The heat is on. I feel good. I'm showered. The tea is dried in my system and working its way through. Let's get into the year in review. Okay, here we go. So, a year in gender review. Thinking first about my physical appearance. I started this year kind of in the middle of a production, so I'd had my hair done for the production, long, gorgeous French curl braids, fabulous, loved the color. It's like rich auburn with honey blonde right at the top so that my face was framed with this honey blonde. It was wonderful. And I recognized too, like, if I wasn't actively leaning into the sort of like I'm, a hero in a romance novel with my long tresses, then it would start to feel very she, her very quickly. And I know I was experiencing more of that because of that hairstyle. I recognize personally, I feel like long hair is a sign of masculinity in the sense of like the virility, the vitality of it all, the way that it is also a means of performing that sort of virility and vitality for, any kind of attraction purposes, especially in the indigenous sense. But I also know like the world sees long hair and thinks, girl. So as you can see, I have a little bit of length right now just in the back. It obviously completely is like gone once I put it to the back, which is also sort of the point. But I like to have something to also like play with. Um, and I like the length and I like knowing that like someone could also play with my hair too in that way. That's my hair. I think my face. I think I was looking in the mirror today because I know we talked about it yesterday, and I was like, I think there's something about having my hair out of my face that feels really non-gendered, that feels really like it's not about the performance of a hairstyle to say like this is boy, this is girl, this is they, this is we, this is it, this is all, but to just be like this is face, right? Like, and face is not anything but face. And so I'm like, maybe we'll explore a little bit more of having my hair out of my face um in the coming year. Because I also had French curl braids for one show, took out my hair pretty quickly just to essentially put it back into a new set of French curl braids for the second theatrical production. And then haven't really had a chance to just like exist with my own hair um for a while. It was like October when I finally took out all the braids and all the everything, and I was like, okay, this is my hair. And then yeah, in terms of my body, I think I feel most comfortable with what it is that I'm seeing at this time when I'm working out, when I feel like good and safe to just be like, this body is for the functional purposes that it contains. It is for the digestion, it is for the respiration, it is for the cardiovascular health, it is for feeling good walking around, not hearing my knees pop or crack or feeling achy in my joints, but knowing like this body is able to serve for me the function of existence. And that really gets supported when I'm exercising and I'm like putting in the structure literally to make sure that my body can function the way that it wants to function. Um, in addition to all of that, um, this year I was able to play pretty much exclusively non-gendered characters, which is I can't I am so lucky. I am so lucky to be performing as characters that are also mirroring that part of my existence. I started off the show playing this character named Frank in a rendition of Showboat that we were doing with Under the Radar Festival and Target Margin. And we decided, technically that character is like written as like a cis guy, and I'm just gonna be who I am. And so it's not like I have to play girl. It was incredible. And my co-actor as well, just incredible, open person. Also, someone on the gender expansive spectrum. She uses she, they pronouns. And it was just like amazing to be playing alongside her and stepping into this sort of like soft mask, which always feels really at home for me. After Frank, oh, I did do a piece where I did play a she, her. Oh no. It was only a month and we only met on the weekends. So it was like I could drop into it and I could drop out of it. And I did a sort of rendition of Liliane, written by Ntozake Shange. And that was like a virtual augmented reality piece. And so once we rehearsed the piece for a couple of weekends, then we came in for the final 2 weekends to record the like adaptiveness of it with these like sensors that captured our body movements. And then also we did an audio full through so that they could then splice it. And then I did not have to actively perform it 8 times a week for, 2 to 3 to 4 months. So I think I was able to quickly recover from that process because I knew like it wasn't something that I had to contain for a really long time, nor did it have to be recreatable once we captured it on audio and on video. So that was really helpful. After Lillian, I then started Machinal, which is a piece by Sophie Treadwell that was being done as the inaugural introduction of the New York Theater Company, which literally just was like born via this production. And that was a situation again where I was just like playing a bunch of people. None of them really had any gender specificity if it wasn't inherently masculine. Like we inserted a sort of jazz singer, but I was like, I'm just singing jazz. Like we're not, adding any characterization to this moment. I played a doctor, I played a priest, I played, someone who did like adding clerk duties in an office. None of that was inherently like feminine or she, her of it all. And so I felt very comfortable just being like, okay, when I need to play sort of, a toxicity of masculinity, I'll play that because it is, specific to the show. Machino, if you haven't read it and you want to read it, please go ahead. It's in the public domain now. But yeah, it's basically dealing with a woman who's like, just like in the middle of a reckoning of what it means to be a woman in the United States at that period of time, and it causes her to do some drastic things. And yeah, and so that was another production where I just got to like chill and be myself. And then that show ended. I did a reading with a friend, Gloria Ladipo, who wrote this piece about a young woman and her sleep demon. I played, the magical character in question. And again, it wasn't like I was anything in particular in one way or another. Everybody knew who I was walking into that room. And so I didn't really have to fake any way about who I was in that room, which is again, always a blessing. Always, always, always a blessing. And the character who played the sort of young woman was also just very like, very soft, very kind of, I would say, sort of leaning into what we know as masculine of center in a way that felt just really like as a reflection of this person being the center at the story. Like I felt really at home being next to them. And then after that, couple more readings. Again, just playing, just like either just like hanging out, being a non-gender specific individual, or leaning into soft masculinity, which is amazing. It was amazing. Okay, so that's like kind of my career bubble. And I realized that this video is going to be longer than usual because it is a year in review that we're doing. So it's just going to be what it is. After that, I'll say the next category of year in review, hashtag gender, is my relationship with Hayok. So we met at the end of January of 2025, January of this year, 2025, and it was not my first time dating someone who is outside of the gender binary, the cisgender binary, the cisgender heteronormative binary. But it was, I think, the longest, it has been at this point, the longest that I've dated someone who also lives beyond the binary in that way with me. And it is beautiful to do. There's a sort of ease that I've been experiencing, a relief. I keep saying, like, I feel so relieved being in this relationship with them because they too are trans mask. They too are on like a trans medical journey. they too just like understand a lot of what it is that I'm currently experiencing as I've started my medical transition. And it has provided a sort of place for me to not be masked, to be unmasked in the sort of neurodivergent sense. And that, real talk, has come with its own challenges, right? Because like there's a certain kind of, there's a lack of depth that is easy to sort to live in when you're like also like slightly masked in your relationship, slightly masked in your relationship. But because I'm unmasked in this relationship, I am more vulnerable. I am more open. I am more available to meet the parts of myself that I haven't been able to meet and meet them with those parts of myself and be like held accountable to those parts of myself as well. And so I know like this relationship has already changed me. I know it's changed them. We were just having a conversation about it the other day. And I'm like incredibly grateful that they continue to like be in my life and I continue to be in theirs because I'm learning so much and I'm like experiencing so much joy and so much knowing, like to be known this deeply. You know, the phrase goes like to be known is to be loved. I like to think about it in the opposite direction, like to be loved is to be known. To For them to be practicing love and that love being a practice of knowing me, of getting to know me continuously, infinitely, is like such a blessing and such a powerful act as two people who are also trans, who are also living in this world, in this time, in this place, who are dedicated to loving each other. Oh, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. I'm so grateful and I'm so lucky. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, so that's them, and that's me with them. I think the last thing I'll chat about here before ending this video as we approach 20 minutes is like, I have finally found my like New York apartment. And that means like I get to exist in a home that is well maintained, that is taken care of, that is supportive, that within which I live alongside people who are in full support of where I am in my gender journey. I am never misgendered in this home. If I am misgendered, it gets corrected pretty immediately. They are in full support and understanding of my medical transition. They've both taken it in stride. They are incredibly affirming when it comes to, you know, the way that they talk to me, talk about me, refer to me in space. They have been, this has been such a place for me to like lay down my arms. I always say like I want to folks to be able to walk into a space with me and know that they can lay down their arms, they can lay down their armaments, they can lay down their armor. And this feels like a home that I am able to do that in. Like I can just be and lay down my armor and say, here I am. And it's not going to always be great and it's not going to always be perfect, but I am learning to be myself as myself is changing and becoming more affirmed on the outside as I feel on the inside. And they have been incredibly welcoming. So shout out to Fletcher, shout out to Maddie, who are just like, yeah. I'm so lucky. You know, I'm like, this is a 20-minute video and it feels nuts to be doing, but I I think it's really helpful for me to have this video archive to know like this is where I'm at the precipice of a continuance of so much that's still to come. And I think I'm going to talk about that tomorrow in our next video. Um, But yeah, I think this is a good place to stop this video. So if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited for you to be on your journey, whatever that journey is. And I can't wait to start this new chapter with you tomorrow. Mwah! I love you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.